Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video, I'll be revealing my 1000 point Imperial Fist army. I've been quietly building an Imperial Fist army of 1000 points to play in Warhammer 40,000, and so in this video I'll be revealing it in full for the first time here on the channel so you can have a good look at it. It's not quite finished, I've still got some highlighting to do, but it's good enough for tabletop ready and certainly battle ready. So I thought in this video I'll reveal, show you how I've done some magnetization, have a look at the bases and then the weapon options for some of the vehicles and some of the other models I've got in the army. It's been really fun building a 1000 point army, keeping myself down to that limit, getting it ready and actually playing it. So I go down to my local club every week. I've been playing Warhammer 40,000 once, twice a week for months now and loving it. So yeah, really excited about this army and can't wait to show it to you. Before we get stuck into all that though, I'd like to say a huge thank you to this month's sponsor, Firestorm Games, for supporting the channel and helping me to do these daily videos. You can save up to 20% on all your hobby products with Firestorm Games, and they've also given me a code to share with you, and you can save an additional 5% with that if you use it before the 31st of August. Those links are in the description below. It would be awesome if you check them out. Right, let's have a look at the army then. So I got the White Dwarf magazine, issue 479, and saw this awesome Suppression Force Duracius. And I thought this would be a great way to put an army together. I loved the battle report, how the army played. So I got busy building some of the Marines I had, some of the models, and I had 1000 points worth all together to get going with. I picked up Tor Garrion, the main man to lead the army, got busy with my airbrush, and now I'm at a point where all the models are battle ready. Let's start working our way through each of the units, and then I'll do a big picture at the end so you can see them all together. And the first one is the Gladiator Lancer. And so I had this model already, I really liked it, and so I was going to use it for the Ultramarines. I'm starting to build up the collection from the Imperial magazine, but as soon as I saw the gameplay for the Imperial Fist, how they're a shooting army, I really liked that idea, and the Gladiator Lancer that was included in White Dwarf just looked awesome. So yeah, I think Imperial Fists are the way I like to play, and I've played one game with them now so far, properly down at the club, and I loved it. I think they're brilliant. The Gladiator is a fantastic model. I love the look from the back. This just looks great. All the details in there are brilliant. Really well done. And having it in bright yellow isn't the sort of thing I'd normally do. I wouldn't normally go for bright colours like this. But I'm glad I tried something different and went for it because I'm really pleased with the results. I've gone for all three weapon options, and we'll have a look in a minute. I'll show you how you can interchange these and then play each of the different Gladiator variants. Really easy and quick to do, but most of the time I'll probably be playing the Lancer, especially in this 1000 point list because it's quite low on points compared to the other two and it fits in nicely. I didn't do much of it during the first battle though, and I'll be doing a separate video where I just talk through my first experience of playing them later on this week. But yeah, it didn't do an awful lot in that battle, but still looked cool on the battlefield and I loved it. But here I've got the bolters on the side. Obviously with the Imperial Fist you want to benefit from the bolters because you get extra buffs for that, but you can swap and change these main guns. I love this one on the top, just looks so cool. And then we've got the base, so I've left it so I can just take it on and off, then I can change the angle. And I've done all the bases the same for all the models. Very simple, just use some Vallejo paste, some cork, and then wash first, and then dry brush. A few skulls and tufts dotted in for good measure, and we're good to go. Let's have a look at how it comes apart and how you can change the weapons. I mean, the Lancer Laser Destroyer is awesome. It's a heavy 2 weapon. It's strength 10, -3, and then the D3 +3 damage is really good, especially in the Devastator Doctrine the first round, because the buffs to that make sure it's AP -4, and then the damage is D3 +4, so that's really cool. So you can see I can take it off the base. I haven't painted underneath properly, so we won't be seeing that, so I didn't worry about it too much. The turret, I didn't glue that, so that comes off. So if I want to transport it, I've got lots of options. These are fixed, so I'm not going to change those. I've committed to the bolters on the side, so they're going to stay where they are. But this actually comes out. You can take the Lancer Laser Destroyer out, and it's only in with friction, and then you can just pop in the Las Talons and the other Gatling gun as well. So a little bit of movement there, but it's fixed in place, so that friction's really holding it in nicely. This one is a little bit wider, so just push it in. Again, really strong. You can shake it, that's not coming out. So that is a nice quick way to do it without worrying about magnets. And on here, I trimmed it a little bit too much on the sides. So I glued a little bit of sprue onto the underside of it. And so that fits really nicely in there. So I can wedge that in. Again, the fiction's going to hold it and it's not going to come out at all. Next up is the Redemptor Dreadnor, and I love this model too. Fantastic model, points not too bad, especially when you compare it to some I've been playing with Space Marines. Looking at Bjorn, I play him 195 points, giving him the twin las cannon. So for the same points, I get this beast. So really happy with this. He performed really well in the battle, took a lot of damage off one vehicle that I was fighting against, and so yeah, that was really cool. But when he got stuck into melee as well, he's got some potential there with the Redemptor Fist. But I do like that macro plasma incinerator. You can do some serious damage, especially if you're rolling hot, heavy D6. So if you get 5 or 6 shots with this at strength 8, -4, 2 damage, you're going to put out a fair amount, especially in the first round with the Devastator Doctrine, adding -1 to your AP and 1 to your damage too. He's not messing around with this Redemptor Fist either. You can put the Onslaught Gatling Cannon for 5 points underneath. That's heavy 8. Strength 5, -1, 1 damage. Again, because it's a heavy weapon, you get all the buffs in the Devastator Doctrine. So really cool. Love it. And that just looks awesome. I'll be doing some more videos on the Imperial Fist, lots probably, because I'm really enjoying them at the moment. And so I'll be going into all their stats and data sheets and all the different tactics to play them and things like that. I'll probably do some videos on how to build your first 1,000 points army with them and things like that based on my experience. Because I think doing 1,000 points is a really fun way to do it. Maybe even start at 500 and grow from there, do a slow grow with it. But playing 1,000 points is my favourite way. I'm really enjoying that right now. So yeah, I'll definitely be covering more videos on this. Here we've got the base, done it exactly the same. I just went through and did the same method on all of them. And I put a little magnet on him so I can take the upper part off and swap it round. And I can also swap the 2 weapons. They're just going in and out with friction again. That's all that's needed. So I can choose between the plasma or between the Gatling cannon. So yeah, having those 2 options I think is really fun. But this just looks great again. Putting that on him is brilliant. But you want to be going up against some troops or swarms with that weapon. So here he is in the video, and you can see with the magnet you can turn him as well, which I think's fun, and so that's really good. But it's more so for like transport and things like that. It really helps. Gives you options again with your different carry cases and how you can store him. But the magnet's really strong, so getting a good magnet is important. And again, he's very bright. I went with that pink and white undercoat and then with the yellow contrast airbrushed over the top. So working the same way as an ink, really, very similar to that. It's not quite as bright as an ink would be. So, but for me, I didn't want it to go too crazy. I could have gone a little bit heavier, I think, with the pink underneath. But, you know, getting that contrast on nice and smooth was the main thing. And then I went through and did all the panel lines with a shade as well afterwards, just to give it a bit more oomph. But here we go. I'm just showing you how I'm swapping the weapons over here. So we can put the plasma in there or the Gatling cannon and then swap him, pop him on the magnet, and he's ready. Next up, we've got an Inceptor squad, and I really like they've got the assault bolters putting out 18 shots between them. But I don't know if they're the best way to go about having a faster unit for the Imperial Fist, so a bit of practice with these, but I had them, so I used them, and I think they're good to get in, like, into behind enemy lines. Maybe that's what I did in the battle I played in them yesterday. So I like using their death from above ability. That worked out nicely. And I've also magnetized these too, because I found I couldn't glue those plastic rods onto them. It just wouldn't work. I used super glue, I used plastic glue, tried everything. So in the end, I just gave up, snipped the top off the little rod, put a magnet on it, drilled a hole in the back of the Space Marine, and then that magnet pops in nicely. And it's not a huge magnet, but it's certainly strong enough to hold these guys on, and they didn't fall off once during the battle, so that was really good. So yeah, and they're all the same as well. I've orientated the magnets, so it doesn't matter which model I put on which stand, they're all going to go on in the same way. So those magnets aren't going to repel each other, so that's worked out nicely. So I was really happy with that, and better for storage, I think. I'm not worried about snapping it off or anything like that. So I've painted all the eyes on these, and that was a little bit of a challenge. I had to be very careful and steady with that. I don't normally paint a lot of details on models. I've been mostly painting with contrast paints, exploring the traditional method a bit more, and with these I wanted to do something that was quite quick to get them battle ready, but that was kind of striking, and I think the colour does a lot for these, and then it's just a case of painting by numbers, filling in the gaps, and off you go. And then doing a nice simple base can be quite effective too. Again, it's just Vallejo paste, a wash, and then a dry brush, not a blush, with some tufts added on as well at the end. Next up are the Eliminator squad, my second heavy squad that I put in, and I love these. You get these in cover, they're going to get 2 to their save, so that's brilliant. I think these are brilliant models, some of my favourites. This next one is probably one of my favourite models. He's just brilliant, so it was really great to play those. They did some damage, taking out some of the enemy throughout the game, so I was really pleased with how they performed, and definitely worth including. So cheap, it felt like, 75 points. That's just brilliant to get 3 of these with the power they can put out. And just like all the models, I've got to do all the highlighting on these. I've got to sort their cloaks out. I've got to put a shade on it, highlight it. I'm going to do a camouflage pattern. So I've got a fair bit of work to do yet. But again, battle ready, so very happy. And here they are, all lined up. So not much to look at with these. I'm not going to be like changing them, or there's no magnetization. The weapons I've given them are, as you can see. So I've mixed it up. This one's got the Las Fusil, and then the others have got the bolt ones. But I'm playing them all as Las Fusil. So these ones aren't what you see is what you get. So I might get another set actually, because they are so good. I can imagine having 2 of these, especially when I get up to playing 2,000 points later on. Having 1 in each corner of the battlefield would be fantastic. So yeah, these are probably my favourite unit so far. Next, we got the main man himself, Tor Garrion. What a beast of a model. That fist is not messing about when you consider it's ×3 strength, that's strength 12. AP is -3, and dishing out 3 damage, that's pretty good. It's -1 to the hit roll though, but he's got some buffs when going up against vehicles, so you can add 1 to his damage characteristic just for him, plus the buffs you get from the Imperial Fist themselves. So yeah, get him up against a vehicle or a building, he's going to do some serious damage. There was lots of painting steps with this guy. Doing the Imperial Fist on the shoulder was really tricky. Again, steady hand, trying not to make a mistake, but just went through it methodically, doing each little bit, added each colour, and just building it up. Again, I've got to do the cloak, got to add some shade, some highlight, and then that'll be ready to go. And also highlight all of the armour as well, so I can do that later on. And then, of course, once I've done that, I've got to put all the transfers on all the models, and I haven't done one yet, so that's going to be fun, and I'll definitely do a video of my first transfer being applied. It's so cool when your model gets their first kill in combat, and he went up against 3 Tyrannid warriors, rolled 6 attack dice because he charged in, and then he got to kill them all. So that was great, killed 3 of them, and that was his first kill, and really happy with that. So I can't wait to see how he does against something bigger though, so I'm looking forward to playing him again really soon. So let's have a look at him again. I'm not trying to get this like perfect. You can see when we're getting closer, there's quite a few like mistakes. The lines aren't dead straight and things like that. But when it's a little bit away from you on the table, you don't notice, and it all works really nice. The main thing is having that smooth yellow, I think, with a little bit of a transition into shadow, little blend that comes from doing that airbrush over the pink and white. So it's just trying to do as little as possible to get a nice effect on the tabletop. And I'm really happy with how he's come out so far. And I think once I add those highlights to it, that's going to really elevate it too. Onto the Intercessors now, and this is my Sergeant, my first one. Now I painted him as a Veteran Sergeant. By mistake, I thought they all had the white stripe, but it's a Veteran Sergeant with the white stripe. A regular Sergeant would just have the red helmet, but doesn't matter. I can have a Veteran Sergeant leading, that's no problem. He's got 2 seals on his weapon, so what I've done is given him the Gate Breaker bolts, and this is a really interesting thing that you can give to one of your sergeants, where you will just roll 1 attack dice, and then as long as that scores a hit, you can then roll D3 wounds, and with those wound rolls, it works out that the strength is 4, the AP is -5, and it will do 1 damage. So that's pretty interesting, quite fun to play, and you can almost guarantee getting a damage as long as you get that hit. I love the way this model's posed. I've given him a fist, although he doesn't actually use it in the game. It's more for show with this one. So really happy how it turned out. Again, tricky to do that stripe, but he's going to lead this group of 5 intercessors into battle. I've got another 5-man Intercessor squad led by this sergeant, and I've given him the red helmet with the white stripe too, but I've left his head showing because I wanted to give him a fist, but I want him to use the fist. So with this one, it is what you see is what you get. He is going to be using that fist in battle, and I've put some of the Primaris upgrades on him. Again, very tricky to paint those circles, but yeah, done them in the end, as neat as I could get them. And so now he can lead another 5-man Intercessor squad. Until I get some more Intercessors and some potential heavy Intercessors, I'm going to be using an Assault Intercessor squad. So I've got another Sergeant here. I love this guy. He's come out really good. Just looks full of attitude. And he's going to be leading a 5-man team of Assault Intercessors. And so here's the 3 sergeants. We can have a close-up look at them because from a distance it looks nice. All the lines look pretty straight, and so yeah, this is how you're going to see them on the table. You're not going to be staring right up to them. I love the gatebreaker bolts with this guy. Really fun to have one who's got the fist, one who's got that extra buff with the weapon, and a few extra points to have the fist, but I think it's worth it. And even if they don't use it and I don't include the points and include that particular weapon, it still looks cool with these and fits in, I think, with the theme of the army, definitely. Let's get in closer and we can have a look at this. So you can see there's definitely some mistakes on the outlines that I've done, especially on the white of the helmet. But again, once it's on the table, you can't even see that little mistake or the scruffy line. So yeah, that's as good as I can get it right now, the level I'm at, and so I was really happy. So that's 10 Intercessors altogether, 5 Assault Intercessors, and so that'll be 3 squads in total. And I'm considering swapping the Assault Intercessors for another regular Intercessor squad, perhaps. I don't know, we'll just wait and see. I'll play it a bit more before I make my mind up. I've also done a few other models. While I was getting the airbrush out, I painted all these up ready. I had them in my collection, and so they're going to be great. I've got another Gravis Captain. I've got 2 Lieutenants, so one that's going to be more close combat, one at range. I've got an Apothecary, so that's all primed in white. And then I've got a Chaplain, so this has got to be done in the black. And then I've got the Librarian. I've probably done this wrong. I believe he should have blue armour. So yeah, I've got the Phobos Librarian there. But I'm going to keep him yellow anyway. And then I've got 5 Hellblasters. These could be an interesting swap for the Lancer maybe later on. That's something I'm going to try. So I'll exchange the heavy unit Lancer for these Hellblasters and see how they perform. With everything I've got, some painted, some not painted yet, I've put them into the different units now. So I've got all the heavy units here. Then we'll have a look at the elites. So I haven't got many elites. I might be looking at maybe adding something in there. If you've got any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below. Great to hear what you think would work with this. And then I've got quite a lot of HQs. So once the army does get bigger, I think I've got most of that covered now. And then the fast ones, I haven't got many fast units, just these. But with the Imperial magazine, I've got an ATV coming. I've got some Outriders, so they may be showing up as well in this army. So I've got my 3 troop squads here, 3 squads of 5. I could put them as 110, 1-5, and then do the combat squad ability and split them up if I wanted to. But I'll be definitely looking to add some more Intercessors here, maybe some heavy ones as well. And that brings us now to the picture of the whole army. This is 1,000 points of Imperial Fist, bang on 1,000 points, and really happy, really fun to play, really had a great time trying them out. Can't wait to play lots more of them. The game style suits me really well, just sitting back, shooting, having a little bit of power if I want to go up a little bit and get involved in some close combat. Having the Assault Intercessors is nice, I can push forward with those and then drop in the Inceptors quite over, maybe far behind enemy lines, or certainly up towards the objectives in the middle of the table and beyond. So this gives me loads of options. I really love the heavy side of it and that Devastator Doctrine. That first round is really important to try and get as many vehicles taken out from the enemy as possible. So that part I really enjoyed, just really putting a lot of emphasis on that first round, and then just letting the enemy come to you and having weapons that kind of can cover the range as they move forward. So really fun way of playing. It definitely suits my play style. Took me a while to get to this point though. I've been playing Space Wolves, Imperial Guard, Chaos Space Marines, and I always tend to go shooting. Obviously the Imperial Guard are fantastic for that with all the shooting units they've got, and so I'm really enjoying working on that army slowly now. I'm holding off a little bit until we get the Codex, and then it's full on Imperial Guard again. But the Imperial Fists are where I'm at right now. I'm really enjoying growing that and playing them and learning exactly what they can do. I've been making loads of how-to videos now based on my experience from building the 1000 points, planning them, learning how they play, and then sharing that with you. And hopefully that'll be helpful and something you're interested in. I hope you enjoyed this video and seeing the first army reveal for the new Imperial Fist army here on the channel. And if you liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.